It's a question on everybody's mind now more than ever. And I have the answer. It's not pretty, but it's better to understand the world even if the reality is ugly, rather than for the masses to live ignorant. So today I'll explain why, from a geopolitical perspective, why the Arab nations are allowing Israel to continue their actions in historic Palestine, Gaza in particular. Specifically, I want to explain why Islam, the religion of the majority of the people in this part of the world, why religion has not had the effect many would have expected it to have in terms of spurring the Arab states into action. The simple answer: religion plays a very critical part in the citizen sentiment across the whole of the Middle East, essentially. Muslims, especially, are taught from a very young age, you see, across the whole world, right? Not just the Middle East. They are taught that their faith transcends nation state borders. So the people of the Middle East, by and large, are very much unhappy and hostile towards the Israeli state, especially during these last 2 years for actions in historic Palestine. I'm not saying it's just Muslims, I'm not just saying it's Middle Easterners who are unhappy, but especially these guys are unhappy. The citizens, very important distinction: citizen and administration. This is how we learn geopolitics. Now, that's the citizens. They're very unhappy. But for the governments of these Arab states, religion, one could argue, analytically speaking, plays no role at all. It is, in fact, a hurdle, if anything, to overcome for the administrations. Because the administrations, the governments from Egypt to Saudi Arabia to Qatar to Lebanon to Yemen, um, not, not Houthi Yemen, and the other Arab states generally, the administrations have to actually allocate resources to keep the populations in line. Is the other way around. They have to fight the religion and the citizen sentiment caused by the pan Arab religion, the pan Arab Islamic effect that it has on the people, the effect Islam has on the people. Sorry, I muddled it up a bit there, but hope that made sense. Now, to keep a lid on the citizens is what I'm saying. The Arab states need to allocate resources. Far from being in line with the citizens, what the citizens want, if the administration sort of becomes the spear, the tip of that spear, uh, shoving in the direction of the citizens of that country. Far from it. It's like the citizens are moving in a certain direction, and the administration becomes the anvil that the people strike into. Because the administrations prioritize matters of the state, right? Other matters, not religion, not solidarity, not morality, not humanitarian catastrophe and avoiding it in historic Palestine. No, no, forget those. Wealth, stability, survival of the nation, all necessary, admittedly. But they cannot wield the religion of the population as a resource. The administration care about all these things: wealth, prosperity, stability. They care about religion as well. Ideally, they could use religion as a way to gain some additional benefit for their state from the administration's perspective. But it's the opposite way around. They need to spend extra resources to cancel the religious sentiment out, to make it zero. Why? Because the administrations are largely aligned with the falling superpower, the US. It's the alignment of the Arab states' administrations to the US that means they're out of alignment with their own citizens. For better or worse, I'm just giving you the analysis. Look, I'm not taking sides here. I'm giving you the facts as they are. Since the US is falling from its superpower status, these Arab states are becoming more and more independent by the day, but there's a long way to go. And for now, being under America's sphere of influence is what keeps the governments from aligning with their citizens. To stay aligned to America, we have to stay out of alignment with our people, because they don't want what America wants, at least on the matters of foreign policy as it relates to Israel. If you go to Saudi Arabia, the common people will be happy being richer. Who wouldn't? But a large slice of the population are unhappy with the sacrifices being made at a state level to acquire that economic prosperity, to acquire that wealth. And many voice a dissatisfaction with the decisions being made. No, I'm not talking about overthrowing a government or switching out regimes or anything like that. I'm talking about citizen sentiment On foreign policy, it is uncontested, except for the absolute extremists. By the majority, it is uncontested in the Arab states on foreign policy as it relates to Israel. The citizens are not happy with their administrations. So if you're ever unhappy at the Arab states, don't like go be furious at the Arab guy on the street, like the citizens. They can't choose. We'll get to that in a bit. That's the short answer. The short answer took 5 minutes, but I've got some more details. But that's the short answer. The administrations need to stay aligned to America, and that means they can't align with their citizens. Their citizens want, yo, we need to do something about X, Y, Z. What's happening in historic Palestine? And the administration's like, I've got bigger fish to fry, mate. I've got bigger things to worry about. You're only alive and comfortable in your AC, apartment, making the big reals because I'm taking the hit, I'm taking the brunt of your criticism, but I'm keeping us all rich, right? Look down, look away, look away. Don't look at the horror. Don't look at the horror in historic Palestine. Look away. I'll look for you and I'll ignore it. But you don't even look. Don't cause your heart to jiggle, to wiggle. Don't rock the boat, okay? We're on a very precarious dinghy. Anyway, I think I've overdone the analogies for that one. And now, for some more context, I've got a little bit left. So grab a cup of coffee or juice and sit down. I wish I had juice. I don't. I'm not going to go downstairs to get some orange juice, even though I'd like some. I'll just pretend to drink some. Oh, that was so imaginatively refreshing. Now let's analyze. A quick reminder before we carry on, actually. Please do drop a comment letting me know where you're watching from and like and bookmark my videos to help me reach more people. If you care about my work, those little things cost nothing except a few seconds to you guys, but collectively they can double, triple, quadruple the number of people this video reaches. So if you care about what I'm teaching, help me teach it to more people. Now, some further analysis. Many wonder, across the globe, why do the Arab states not take action in support of Palestine? Now, the more informed ask, forget supporting Palestine. Why do the Arab states actively support Israel? They're not even neutral. Just tell them to stop supporting Israel. When Iran was firing missiles, they were shooting them down. What? Right? Here's the answer. Here's why they're not neutral. Far from being supportive of Palestine. Here's why. The Arab states, from small players like Lebanon and Jordan, all the way through the medium players like Egypt and Qatar and the UAE and Kuwait and all the way to Saudi Arabia, the Sunni giant, the custodian of the Haramain, the two holy sites of Islam, the biggest Arab state by economy as well. All of them, from Saudi down to Jordan and Lebanon, all of them, not a single exception, all of them are still under the American umbrella. They are all within America's sphere of influence. America has bases in each of these Gulf monarchies, military bases, right? America pays Egypt over $1 billion yearly in military aid. That's not nothing. It's America that supports Jordanian stability. The king of Jordan is a clean-shaven man, suit-wearing monarch who speaks perfect English in a British accent more impressive than mine, right? That's not me trying to attack him, by the way. You might be upset realizing what I just said. You might not have known what the Jordanian king looks like. If you're imagining a white thobe, the traditional Islamic dress, and him speaking in Arabic, la, meaning no. Go look up Jordanian king, how he looks. Take that news how you want, but it's a fact. Now, why do I mention it? Well, here's another fact. The administrations of the Arab states are fully American aligned, Jordan included. Culturally, policy wise, they're in alignment with the states for now. And therefore, they're friendly to Israel. That's why. They're an extension of America's foreign policy in the region because they get their protection from America. But the people, the common citizens, are very different. They represent arguably the normal sentiment of these countries, the default, right? Not aligned to America, going against the natural inclinations, the fitra, means natural inclinations of the people there. These normal citizens don't have at the state, at the government level, their interests expressed, at least not in terms of foreign policy. Video's about to end. Now, the strong hostility towards the Israeli state, especially these last 2 years, come from not the administrations in the Arab countries, but the citizens. If these Arab states had democracy, for example, hypothetically, there's a very good chance they would vote in the most steadfast anti American or at least anti Israeli administration humanly possible. But, that they don't have the option. But that's just what aligns with the best uh, that's just what aligns best with the citizen sentiment of the people. I'm not supporting or opposing that. I'm just giving you the reality. That's what the citizens would want in a democracy. Do they deserve a democracy? America seems to be fine with them being a very centralized, controlled monarchies at the moment. Interesting. Only freedom and democracy if you don't have control of the oil, basically. Now, the citizens don't have that choice to vote in someone who will switch up the foreign policy in line with the citizens. The current administration's afraid of stepping out of line, comfortable in their safe seats under the paternal American umbrella. They make no move, even as horror unfolds in the region, in their region of the world. The administrations are horrified. Make no mistake, they too, like the citizens, watch and are aghast, but they aren't forthcoming or reckless or brave. Pick your descriptor depending on who you ask, depending on what side you sit on, of course. Um, they aren't willing, is what I'm trying to say, to take concrete action. Because geopolitics and administering a nation is not about morality. This is the sad truth. It's not about what's fair, what's just, what's right, except in a very few rare instances where the administration actually values those things and will take hits to other parts of its national value to be able to uphold what's right, what's moral. But most of the time, it's realpolitik. What's practical? What gets me the most power, the most money, right? The most land, the most riches, the most resources, right? It's about survival. How is my administration going to survive this? Forget doing what's right. What's right? There's no point if I'm dead, right? It's about resources. It's about maintaining the land my country has. And in the case of the Arab states of 2025, right now, it's about staying in line with America, looking away while the atrocities are committed. To remain safe, I need to survive, right? Don't rock the boat, lest it take on water and sink. Yeah, sorry. Now, there's more than one way to govern, of course. It's a give and take. You 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 get something of value somewhere, you give something up elsewhere. It's a give and take. Iran, for example, not Arab, but I mention it, Persian predominantly, Iran's government chose independence over the economic prosperity that would almost certainly have come if they had stayed in line with Western demands. Is that better or worse? Right? Well, it's different. To say it's better or worse than what the Arabs have decided, the Arab states, sorry, have decided, would be me taking a side. I'm not here to take a side. I'm not here to push you onto either side. I'm here to give you the information. You go off and you do your research, or you hear what I have to say, and then you've come to a conclusion. You can sit on either side. But the Iranians, under the Iranian administration of 2025, they've picked a different side from the Arab administrations. Less economic prosperity, more control, well, complete control essentially over their own domestic and foreign policy, not in line with the West. I leave the side taking to you. Now, geopolitically, many may argue the Gulf monarchies don't have a choice. They have to stay in line to survive, to stay rich, right? This, I must point out, is incorrect. They have many choices. Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Qatar, and the others, to some extent, each, to varying extents, they each have wealth now. They each have stability. They each have strong economies. Not all of them are as strong as each other. Some are stronger, some are weaker, but they all have things now, and therefore they all have economies now, and therefore they have valves, they have dials that they can turn, mechanisms to insist on change of policy by countries around the world and around their region. They have, for example, China to look to and threaten the Americans. If this doesn't become a more equal relationship, a more give and take, if I'm just told to completely keep my eyes closed and not care about things that I genuinely care about, I'm gonna ask that guy for support. He's as big as you or bigger than you in some ways, right? These nations now have a choice. They might not have had a choice 40 years ago, 30 years ago, when the US was the sole superpower operating in the region. Arguably globally, the US was the sole superpower. Now they have a choice. But like I said, Palestine, Gaza, these are not of particular concern for the current administrations. It's just not. It's not important to them. So why pay good money? Why, for Why pay good money for something you don't want? Why pay economically or diplomatically or both to side with the Palestinians when you don't particularly care for them? It's not geopolitically beneficial to you as part of your cold hard calculation. Alas, this is the mindset. This is the cold hard geopolitical calculation of the Arab states under the current administrations. And the citizens who are infuriated, many who would give up most of their wealth in a heartbeat if it means that they could side with the Palestinian people, many who look longingly towards Iran, wishing that their own state would take some sort of action against the occupation in historic Palestine, even if that means taking certain economic hits, taking certain isolation measures, certain backlash measures by Western states, even if it means that they're like, oh, I wish we could be doing what those guys are doing. The ordinary citizens across the Arab world, they don't really have an open say. Some will agree with what I just described. Others will say, no, 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 Palestine's not my problem. Okay, I want to stay rich. I want to stay safe. I'm just living my best life out here. Don't worry about them. My government says don't worry about them. Don't cause a fitna, which means in Arabic, don't cause a temptation, don't cause a commotion or chaos, right? Don't destabilize the state. Look away, look away. Some people agree with that. Those who don't, they can't really say much. So you won't see it on social media. Behind closed doors, though, I have to say, much is happening. People have sway in these countries in different ways in this part of the world. It's not like democracy. You don't march out into the streets, you don't occupy a bridge or sit outside the houses of parliament. Um, but there is noise behind closed doors. There's other princes that have to advise and work with Mohammed bin Salman, for example, in Saudi Arabia. Noise is being made, right? It's not black and white. It's not agree exactly with what the Saudi state is doing or call for a complete change of administration. That's not the only options. In the middle is those who have the influence and power, who are in certain positions. For example, in Saudi Arabia, they are quietly advising the administration, saying, look, we need to do this, we need to do that, our people are going crazy, and you need to flex a little from the original position you're on. Anyway, that would require talking about how the people have power in each of these countries. Even though they're not democracies, they do have power. How do they have power? That would require a specific video, at least one per country, which I don't have the time for. This is already one of my longest videos ever. So for today, we'll leave it here. And for the unbiased news and analysis without the Western spin, I'm Mahfouz, and I'll see you on the next one.